Back in the 1960s and 70s, Honda helped fan the on-off-road riding Scrambler fad with a wide range of models that were essentially road bikes lightly revamped to allow for off-road wandering, as long as the off-road passages were essentially groomed dirt or gravel roads. The top model was the SCL500, which used Honda's reliable air-cooled 44 horsepower parallel twin and added a lovely high-mount exhaust, some extra suspension travel, a braced motocross-style handlebar, and some more aggressive tires. They sold in the tens of thousands for years until more purpose-built dirt machines supplanted the plucky Scramblers. Now the $6,700 Honda SCL500 Scrambler pays homage to the CL models of old, and not just with a stylistic nod. Vintage CLs are beloved for their slim profile willing engines and toughened bits, and the SCL500 hews close to those values, with a long list of modern tech bits along for the ride. While Honda calls the SCL500 a 500, it's actually 471cc and closer in size to the old P-twin CL450 than to a true 500. But the SCL500 is indeed a parallel twin, except now it's liquid-cooled and fuel-injected. Additionally, it has disc brakes with ABS instead of drum brakes, and cast wheels instead of the gleaming spoked hoops of old. Honda also emulated the high-rise exhaust from the CL days, but it looks quite a bit more clunky and large due to modern emissions and noise requirements. Style-wise, the SCL500 is not the most beautiful Honda I've ever seen, as the abbreviated gas tank and frame climbing to the headstock look a bit odd, and come from the Rebel 500, which also isn't going to win any beauty contest. But my review bike arrived in PNW-appropriate Matte Laurel Green Metallic, or basically matte green, nicely offset by a flat brown seat with a grab strap at center, as well as black knee pads on the tank. Electric speedometers and seat. Black fork gaiters protect the nearly 6 inches of travel up front, and the rear is held up by exposed twin rear coil spring shocks with a few preload clicks. And instead of twin speedo and tachometer clocks up top, a single black roundish LCD display transmits the bike's vitals. A round headlight with 4 LED lights the way forward, abetted by turn signal running lights. Sadly, as stock, a crossbar brace on the handlebars is AWOL, and oddly there is no SCL500 model name badging on the bike anywhere. The CLs of old had both electric and kick starting, but in the modern era it's all magic button ignition, as electric start was known way back when. Fired up, the SCL500 twin ticks over without any signs of menace, a quiet PUD coming from the EPA muted twin exit exhaust canister. While making just over 46 horsepower, the old 450 made about the same. The SCL500 adds a tick more torque, and combined with a fairly wide ratio 6-speed gearbox, it has a gear for pretty much any situation. The seat feels a bit thin. An aftermarket solution or gel pad can add comfort for longer distance riding. But around town or for a quick jaunt to the Oregon coast, the stock saddle is plenty comfortable and nicely flat, allowing plenty of movement if it's only the rider aboard. The SCL500 does seat 2 for the record. When Honda debuted the reliable and affordable 305, 350, and 450cc twins in the 1960s, it enabled many aspiring riders to undertake long journeys that previously required expensive British 650 twins or a big Harley. Out on the freeway, the modern SCL500 ticks down the road in 6th gear at I have no idea how many RPM, since there is no tachometer. But it feels game for pretty much any reasonable speed. And even at 80 miles per hour, the engine doesn't feel stressed or sound like it's going to grenade its internals at any moment. Rider had the most fun bopping around the Portland area on the SCL500, where the fairly plush longer travel suspension easily soaked up most of the hits dished out by our less than pristine pavement. A hot start off the line results in brisk acceleration that will outpace most any car, but won't scare beginning riders if they grab a bunch of throttle. Highway passing requires a click to 5th or 4th and spinning the twin up near its 9,000-ish RPM limit, but once around, the tall 6th returns the calm demeanor. Handling is neutral, and the Nissan disc brakes are in that Goldilocks zone of needing a good squeeze for aggressive stops. but just a couple fingers worth of pressure for most riding. The LCD display is a bit disappointing and can be tough to read off angle or with direct sunlight, and again, there's no rev counter but trip meters, a gas gauge, MPG metrics, gear indicator, and the timer shown. The tank only holds about 2 gallons of juice, but the economical twin gets about 55 mpg at the worst, so going 140 miles on a tank is a reasonable expectation. And there's that gas gauge. Want to do some distance? Get a gel pad for the seat, some aftermarket saddlebags, bungee some gear to the seat, and you're good to go. And off the pavement like the old CLs, the SCL500 is not going to give Honda's dedicated Africa Twin or Transalp adventure machines any scares, but the Dunlop Mixtor semi-knob tires had enough bite to keep things moving in some loose dirt or mud, while ABS kept things upright in slick spots. For riders considering taking the SCL500 off the pavement, know that the ABS cannot be turned off or modified like it can on most adventure bikes. The SCL500 is clearly street-oriented while having just enough capability off the pavement to allow for exploration down forest roads, gravel paths, and some Jeep trails provided you take it slow. The bike's thin profile and upright bars do allow for standover riding, but for the most part, riders sitting down and using their feet as outriggers should be able to get to where they want to go. More aggressive tires could give the SCL500 some more off-road capability. Just keep in mind it's no dual sport like Honda's legendary XR650L. And really that's fine. The SCL500 is not some round-the-world expedition platform. It really does hew close to the spirit of the classic Honda CL series Scramblers by being a versatile, comfortable, reliable motorcycle that keeps things simple for the rider. The old Honda CLs provided put the key in and go versatility, simplicity, and reliability, which was revolutionary in its day. The SCL500 Scrambler isn't quite as novel today, but its spirit is the same. Got somewhere you really want to go. More than likely, the Honda SCL500 Scrambler is going to get you there and provide a lot of fun along the way.